Hey, how's it going? It's Tim Brown, and I'm with Matt Danskin of Restoration Referral System. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing great, man. Good to talk with you.
Yes, sir. We're talking about how to get more business from insurance agents. We're going to try to give away, if Matt will let us, some of the secret sauce today, but also check them out. Matt, we were talking about the best lead sources. So give me the God's honest truth about what you think are the best lead sources in order, because you've been a roofing contractor. Feel free to give a little bit of your background in this as well.
Yeah, sure. So I started in construction. I was growing up building houses with my dad. I got my first job on a framing crew when I was 13 years old, and got out of construction for a while when the housing market crashed, and got back into construction in new builds, remodels, additions, all that sort of stuff. And then found my way into the roofing world. I realized that it was a sweet spot of being able to do profitable jobs and do them at a high frequency. It's still a pretty big ticket. And so really just fell in love with the industry, started doing just roofing. And I was doing every different lead source that you can imagine. I'll be honest, I never did SEO super well. But that was something that I worked on, getting Google ads and that sort of stuff. For me, I found that referrals were.
Did you try all the home advisors and stuff of the world too?
Uh, I didn't try home.
Unpack.
I luckily I had somebody years and years ago kind of warned me away from home advisor. And I'm glad that I didn't go that path. But I did, buy telemarketing leads, which, that those can be okay. We did canvassing, we did door knocking, we did networking groups, a little bit of Google, a little bit of social media. We even did MRPs. If we're doing a hierarchy, those are right at the bottom.
What is an MRP? Sorry.
MRP is a managed repair program. So
Okay.
it is essentially a deal with the devil, where the insurance carrier gives you their customers who don't have a contractor, and you agree to do it for whatever price they want you to do it for, which means you don't get to properly take care of that homeowner. So went down that path, as a lot of people have. And out of all of those lead sources, I had one insurance agent that was referring me business. He worked for a good carrier. And so the claims usually got bought right away. They got paid pretty profitably. And I closed almost all those deals. The customer's not shopping around and talking to a bunch of people. They're engaged with me. If they need a roof, I'm the one doing it. And so I found that was really efficient. No shade on the Google ads or anything like that. I found a lot of those people, especially with what I was doing, I didn't really have a good brand recognition. If they found me through Google, they probably found two or three other people, and we were going into a bidding situation, which a pretty good salesman, I could win some of the time, but some of the time I didn't. And so, with what you guys are doing, I think it's a excellent part of a strategy. But as you probably know, you need to present your brand well there too.
Oh yeah, and I also like if somebody's only doing SEO or only doing Google ads, like I don't want to be your only lead source, like and like you're saying with brand, it all needs to kind of work together.
Sure.
And if it's the only thing, I think it's a really bad. I think you should be doing a lot of things. And I think your messaging should be tight too. So there's a lot of components to all this, which I'm sure complement what you're doing as well. I'm
Yeah.
guessing.
Yeah, for sure.
But I want to know more about what you're doing. So you guys are helping get more referrals from insurance agents,
Yeah.
right?
So,
Are you looking at the agency or just the agent?
the agent specifically. So really what I do, just to be clear, I'm not a lead service. I don't do this for my customers. I teach contractors how to fish, right? Instead of fishing for them. And so we teach them how to not just have one or two insurance agents referring them business, but how to repeat that process over and over and over again in a healthy way, so that you can actually provide value to those agents, so that they're getting what they want, so that they're going to continue that relationship, and you can build that in a predictable way.
Mm-hmm. So can you give us lead us down the road towards the secret sauce? You can
Sure.
stop before you get to the secret sauce, but, and I mean, from what I understand, you guys are actually enabling people with scripts and the exact what to say, because you guys have failed enough times to be able to help alleviate some of that process for because if the idea is good. So I want to go out, if I'm a roofer, I want to go out and do this now. I want to be better at this. Maybe I've tried and failed. Maybe I've gotten discouraged. So what are some of the things that kind of are more effective when talking to agents?
Yeah, absolutely. So first off, we look at this as a relationship, and just like, any relationship, it's going to do well when everybody's getting what they want out of the relationship. And most roofers, including the roofer that insurance agent you want is probably working with right now, they go in there and they say, hey, we're super awesome. We're the best roofing company. We're A+ rated. Look at me. I'm so cool. Anytime you have a customer, let us know. We'll take care of them. And it's all about them. It's gimme, gimme. And so the first step in overcoming that and winning that is to think about what that agent wants from you. Don't just think about yourself. If you give that agent what they want, you're going to get what you want in return. But focus there. And so we focus through 6 things that insurance agents want. From least important to most important are convenience, integrity, customer service, quality work, client retention, and new business. And 5 of those 6 things, the bottom 5 out of 6, you can do. If you do those things really, really well, you may be a little bit better than your competition. And if you're a little bit better than the roofer that they're already referring their work to, they're going to keep referring their work to that same person. They're not going to have a come to Jesus moment over you being 10% better than the other guy at those areas.
Yeah.
But bringing them new business, so few roofers even have that on their radar as something that they can do for the agents, and even fewer actually do it well. And so the bar is, this is from a lot of feedback from a lot of contractors and insurance agents, the bar is 0 to 2 customers that contractor is going to refer back to the agent a year. 0 to 2. And so that is an area where you can be 1,000% better than your competition. And so that's the battle that's going to decide the war. And your competition usually isn't even going to show up. And so that's where we focus. Obviously, all of those areas are important to running a good business, but that's where we focus and where we can make up ground on our competition, so that agent, by the end of meeting with them, says, holy cow, what have I been doing? I can't believe I've been referring someone to anybody but you. And now I need to refer all of my customers exclusively to you. That's the goal. And so that's kind of the area that we target to be effective.
So a couple of things. One, how do you refer them more business? And then 2, don't you have to target 10 insurance agents to make this, significantly impact your revenue?
Those are both really.
I guess that's 2 questions. I should do one at a time.
Yeah, no, that's all right. So, and I get those questions a lot of times from potential clients or people that when we're at the front end of our training. So the first piece of that is I want more than 10. I want probably, per individual project manager in the company. I recommend that they have probably 20 to 30 insurance agents referring all of their work to you. You won't have to do anything else.
But this is at the PM level. I guess that's a good thing. Like thinking about it per project manager, per.
Yeah, because it's all
that's an important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
I'm thinking business owner because I'm a business owner. So I'm thinking about like that is tiring to think about.
I see it that way because I have some of my clients that are literally one person, and I have some of my clients that have 150 salespeople. And so I think of it in terms of breaking it down into that kind of scalable size. But the point is that makes what you were asking even more extreme, right? If I need to refer 10 customers to 30 insurance agents, that's 300 customers that I need to refer to an insurance agent. And a lot of people look at that and go, man, I have no idea how I'll do that. And really the foundation, the cornerstone of our process is in asking the right questions to the customers that we get in front of. And so I'll give you this part of the secret sauce. And we've got half of this on some of the t-shirts that we hand out at conferences and stuff. We ask every single homeowner, every single property owner that we get in front of, whether they have damage or not, whether they file a claim or not, whether they're sign your contract or not, you should be asking them 2 questions. Number 1, who is your insurance agent? So few contractors ask that question and they skip over the value that's here. You're never going to get that insurance agent if you don't ask that question. Now, that information by itself really isn't all that valuable, because you can go online right now and look up 1,000 insurance agents and get all their contact information. They want to be found. That part's easy. The part where the value actually is in the second question, which is asking them, what do you think of them? And understanding what that customer's relationship is like between them and their agent. And either that customer has a positive relationship with their agent, in which case you can leverage that customer, that mutual customer relationship to get your foot in the door with the agent, so they'll hear you out, or they don't know or don't like their agent, in which case that customer has just informed you, you could probably refer them to somebody else. They don't even like who they're doing business with right now. And so I don't like going against the grain. If somebody likes their insurance agent, it's really hard to refer them to somebody else. But if they don't know them, they don't like them, it's a pretty natural, easy thing to do. It's just about recognizing those opportunities by asking the right questions and then actually capitalizing on them.
So you have a list somewhere of the insurance agents that you're referring, and you try to hit them all 10 times in the process of a year, or what? So I know that is more than.
Yeah, essentially. There's different ways to kind of track and monitor who you're referring to. Some people just do it by gut. Hey, I feel like this customer and this agent would do well together. Let me refer them. Some people do a straight round robin. All right, it's this agent's turn now.
Yeah.
Or this person refers me a lot of business, so I'm going to refer them a lot of business. This person refers me a little bit of business, I'll refer them a little bit of business. And so there's a number of different ways to do that. The key point is recognizing that those opportunities are bountiful. They're all over the place if you are looking for them in the right places. You're asking the right questions.
On the other hand, you always get the kind of tangled in that anxiety and maybe a little resentment towards insurance carriers, that we see this from the outside. Excuse me, I'm not a roofer, but I observe roofers very closely. I'm thinking about them a lot.
Yep.
And I see they get tangled in that, and this, we kind of almost like glorify this idea of kind of hating on the insurance side of thing, like hating on the insurance carriers for sure. But that by effect, we're straining our relationship with that environment, so I think like,
Sure.
how do you combat that when you're talking to a contractor that I'm guessing those aren't the ones that come to you, but you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you address that side of
Yeah, actually, that's
the
a
roofing?
very good point. So you do see a lot of times, you see it on social media and, in conversations, people are like, this carrier is terrible, this carrier is awful, they deny everything, they are crooked, they're evil, whatever. And I've been there. I've been heated at these carriers that just defy logic and mistreat your clients, and by extension mistreat you. And that's really one of the reasons that I like getting referrals from insurance agents, because there are bad carriers out there that are going to waste your time, that are going to be very inefficient to work with. And so if you're choosing which agents you go after, you get to choose which carriers you want to work with. And you get to hand select the carriers that are going to pay claims more fairly and more profitably. And so if there are those carriers that, and anybody watching this, any contractors watching this, who those carriers are, right? I don't even need to mention them. Then they can say, I'm not going to do business with those people. I'm just going to focus on the agents of carriers that I like working with. And because any contractor that I know, they do have that love-hate relationship. There's those carriers that they don't like, but there's definitely carriers that they do like too. And so
Good point. Excuse me.
Yeah.
That might be like an outside guy's kind of perspective. Like, do they hate all insurance guys?
They don't hate.
Okay, so if you got
the bad ones,
yeah,
and the bad ones have a big market
yeah,
share. Don't get me wrong,
yeah,
but those are the ones. That's
yeah.
the squeaky wheel, right?
So if you got the name from your customer or potential customer or wherever you're at in this journey, how do you reach out and how do you start the conversation? Is that how you kind of get the intro, or like on the other side? Because I know that that's also to see if they like them, and if they don't like them, you can make an introduction. But do you also, how do you initially make these contacts basically?
Yeah. So we do it by
insurance.
a phone call. And the scripts that we use on those phone calls, like I said, that's part of our kind of proprietary process. But we do it, but we reach out to the agent with a phone call and we let them know that we're working with a mutual client. And really we position ourselves where that agent will take our meeting and they're very interested in what we have to say. So the way that we pitch that to the agent, my clients usually get that appointment with the agent about 90% of the time in that context.
Okay.
And so
for that contact restoration referral system, do you want people to reach out to you directly, or just go to the restorationreferralsystem.com to, let's say, take the next, because I think this would be a natural place for them to potentially, I want those scripts. So,
yeah. If somebody's interested in getting involved with our training and getting the actual word tracks and scripts and everything that we use to be really, really effective in that, they can go restorationreferralsystem.com. That's a really simple way to do it. You can schedule a meeting where we can walk through any questions that they have, or they can just simply shoot me a message. If you're posting this on social media, I'm pretty easy to find in most of those places. They can send me a message. We can connect there. I don't make it, a real high pressure for anybody, but you just try to offer what we've got, and the people that it's a fit for, we get together.
And let's say, can you talk to me through, like, just for the people that are listening that might be interested, how that scales? Let's say if you're a single, individual roofing company owner that's somehow doing 1 million, how some of these guys are out here hustling hard, man. And then you've got like the other guys that have 20 people on their team, up to however many people. How does that scale? Do you consult with the whole team in those cases?
I do. Yeah. So I work on a company basis. And so if a company hires me, I train everybody. So from the CEO to the office staff to the sales staff to your repair technician, I think it's important that everybody kind of understands what's happening in this area so that it can be a successful endeavor. I do have some clients of mine that are project managers that their company didn't want to foot the bill, didn't want to do it. And so they did that on their own. And so I just work with that individual. But that's kind of the exception. Most of the time, since I'm charging the same either way, it makes a lot more sense to divide my fee by 20 people instead of paying it all as one individual.
So what do you see as sometimes some of the resistance or the hangups to this process? Like, where do people get stuck sometimes that are the hardest? Like, where, let's say I wanted to go out and try it by myself because, hey, I've got ideas. I think I can circumvent all these problems that Matt's already navigated.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a smart guy.
Sure.
Where do people usually get stuck? What is the sticking point?
I would say, usually they'll struggle to get an appointment with them if they call them ahead of time. And so a lot of times they'll try that first and they get about 10-20% of the people that they call, they get an appointment with. So I say, all right, forget it. I'm just going to stop in at these agents' office. And half the time they're not there. The times that they are there though, usually the main problem, even once you get yourself in front of that agent, the main problem is differentiating yourself. You're not the first person to realize that referrals from insurance agents are a really good lead source. And so that agent has been inundated with other roofers. And even if you do a great job and you're a really awesome contractor, there's other people out there doing a good job too. And so you need to be able to, in a concise and logical way, build a case that not only should they refer you, but they should refer you exclusively. And I think that's one of the big differences is some people will do this on their own and they'll, even after working out some of the bugs on their own, they end up getting put on a list of 3 contractors every time that they win. And that's a win. To me, bidding against 2 other guys who may not know how to run a profitable company is not a win. And so as often as possible, we want to create that situation where we're getting that customer exclusively. But all that to say, really just differentiating yourselves, converting that insurance agent in that meeting is the difficult part. From there, these relationships honestly don't require a ton of maintenance. I hear people all the time tell me like, oh yeah, like we bring them donuts and lunch and take them golfing and do all this stuff. And that's all well and good. I believe in, people that you're in a business relationship with doing, generous things with them. But for me, I want it to be out of the goodness of, man, I'm so appreciative of this relationship. I want to just give you this, not as a quid pro quo of, all right, you gave me a relationship, so I'm going to give you this. If you notice the 6 things that we covered earlier, donuts are not one of those.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. Anything else that you kind of want to that's adjacent to this, or maybe just you've noticed you talk to a lot of roofing companies.
Yeah.
So I always think that the consultant that's able to talk to a lot of, what are you seeing right now, either problems or opportunities in the roofing industry that are kind of on your mind right now? What's on your mind?
Man, there's a ton of stuff. And like you said, you're in a similar boat because you get to talk to 100 different people and get, into the thick of their business, and you really learn a lot through that process. But I would say, some of the lessons that I've learned from companies that I've seen grow and do that in a healthy way are those people. First off, like we were talking about a little bit ago, you need some diversity. Don't just do one thing. Have a few different lead sources. So if one of them pulls back a little bit, you're okay. Right. but I would say even with that diversity, they don't try to do everything. The people that are really successful, that make a lot of money, say, you know what, we're really good at these one or two or three things. I
like
kind of
that.
crack jokes about people that are like, we are residential and commercial roofing specialists, and we do asphalt and standing seam and 47 different types of roofing. We're a specialist in every type of roofing. Okay, well, and there's three of us. It's kind of difficult to do. I think you can be targeted and say, you know what, we can do these things, this part of the market, we can approach better than most people. Let's go scale that up. And they do that really well, and they grow really well. Same thing goes whether it's doing a bunch of different trades, and the person that's brand new trying to do roofing and siding and gutters and awnings and decks, and the list continues. I'm kind of the opinion, like, get really good at one thing before you add anything else on.
Yeah, that's kind of our approach with roofing marketing, so to speak, because we realize, I mean, we have other kinds of contractors, but we're going hard on roofing because it's specialization. It's such a beautiful thing. I mean, you just can use all the information that you're learning on every single project on
Yeah.
all the other projects. And that's a beautiful thing. It's like, and it's saying no a lot. Like we've
Yeah.
said no a lot. And that, I want to crank open the leads from my 2 or 3 best lead sources. I want to go hard on them. And then I want to say no to stuff that's outside of that. And that ends up being a superpower, because then you're spending all your time getting really ridiculously good at one or two things.
And you're not getting bogged down in something that is inefficient for you, that is a whole new learning curve, and it's a whole new set of problems. I'm of the opinion, same
It's
thing
tempting
with
for a contractor. Yeah.
with locations. The guys that are like, yeah, we're opening our second and third location later this year, and we're almost at 500,000 this year. On our first location, it's like, maybe get a little bit more firm foundation here where you're at.
Oh man, there's so much more to be had in your current location in that scenario.
Right. Yeah. And people are like, I need to spread out super, super far. And it's like, there's a lot more of your market that you haven't tapped into. I
love those mid markets. I love those, like, we really like them on the Google side too. Like it's easier, like if, let's say, kind of on the edge of a big city, but like they've kind of got like 10 busy suburbs around them. I like those a lot, because it is hard to get high on Google. I'm just ranting, but it is hard to get high on Google, like for that one giant city, like every single time, like
Sure.
we're going to dominate Houston, or you could dominate like 10 suburbs that are nearby and that there's a ton of population, like I love those mid kind of markets, and going after, I do like, you don't have to always have a new shop to have like location landing pages and get business from those places too.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And I mean that about in terms of it being locations that you're setting up a new location.
Yeah, no, exactly. I know what you're saying. And they're like they're trying to like have a main guy over that location and send yeah, exactly. Yeah, I basically, I see that all the time. I think part of it is both with the, hey, we do remodeling and roofing and this and this. It's interesting. And I think it's a little bit more interesting for younger business owners that like they're just trying to do, and contractors sometimes are trying to challenge themselves. That's interesting. I want to try that. I've got to do metal. I've got to do all the different things. So I think, yeah, it's probably not a bad idea to try stuff, but like once you find the things that you can dominate, go hard.
Yep, absolutely.
Are you do you have any other things to talk about related? Anything else you want to rant on? I feel like it's just fun to touch base with other people. We haven't talked ton before. So
Yeah. So one thing that I've really been having a lot of conversations around here lately is the commoditization of roofing,
mhm.
and how, that can be a good or bad thing, based on kind of where you're coming at it from. But you know, that to me is one of the biggest battles, is fighting that perception that a roof is a roof is a roof. I give the example,
Yeah.
I drink, this is my poison right here.
Yeah.
And it, to me, it really doesn't matter where I get my Dr. Pepper. I can get it at the grocery store, at the gas station, at the fast food restaurant, whatever. It's a Dr. Pepper. I'm going to get the same thing wherever I go. And maybe I'll choose one location over another based on how convenient it is, or the container that it's in, but it really doesn't matter. And for a roofing contractor who's typically using the same shingles as 20% of the people in his market, and same roofing crew, indistinguishable from some of his competitors, you really have to do something to get that customer to feel like, hey, this is a unique product that I want, and I can only get it from this one company.
Mhm.
And so, I think that's something that I think fits well with any marketing strategy that you go with, whether it's referrals or Google or Facebook or whatever, is you have to fight that commoditization, to be able to stand out. Unless you just want to, I may go buy my Dr. Pepper at Publix because that's the cheapest place I can get it.
Mhm.
And
I don't
that's,
want to I feel like that's the easy way. They say that the last resort of the shitty salesman is price or whatever.
yeah,
I'll throw out two ways I fight commoditization in general.
cool.
One,
Let's hear
I
it.
think branded checklists for quality control that get implemented every single time that you roll out before you start marketing, but then you use them for marketing.
Yeah,
Quality control based on the things that they care about, not the things that you care about, because they don't know or care about most of the steps. They care about the nails not being in their lawn, and they care about, those types of things. And then the other one being brand. I'll just hammer it. I think having a brand, and not just your logo, because yeah, it has to be decent, but the point is like getting it out there and making it, them see it 5 times before they reach. So to me, that is the Joseph Hughes idea of being the video on Facebook that they see regularly. For us, it's you know nice looking website, the things that kind of separate you in that way.
yeah,
I actually think it's not the worst thing ever that sometimes they get 3 quotes. I just want to be the
sure.
nicest looking, most trustworthy website out of the 3. That's what I feel like we're trying to help people do.
Yeah,
Uh, and that looks high end, that looks like, and I say, I'm putting it on someone's website, so don't steal this. No, just kidding. You can steal it, but customer service, we're a customer service company that does roofing. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like that's what you want to be. And I think that like some of that branding stuff, and I think your headlines and the way you're kind of, this is why we're different. Yeah, but I think about commoditization a lot too. Like I'm always thinking about like how to, because every one of the dude, all these websites are the same. All these roofer websites are the exact same. So yeah, that's something we're always kind of thinking about. Damn, we want to, how do we separate these guys from the pack? And the bar is low for websites, and I'm guessing the bar is low a little bit for talking to insurance carriers, if a lot of contractors are in the gimme mode. So
yeah, exactly. So yeah, and you made a great point, that first point about really showing them what your processes are,
mm,
because that's where you can differentiate yourself. I've seen some really cool companies that will even brand their processes. So it's
hey,
not, cleaning up the
oh yeah, we
job.
got some of those
It's
contractors for sure.
it's the
Jim
XYZ
Johnson is a big
process of
proponent of
cleaning.
that.
What's that?
Yeah, Jim Johnson is a big proponent of that from Contractor Coach Pro. He always talks about, yeah, I think he pushes branding the specific components of the
Yeah.
process. And
Yeah. And so, yeah, I've seen a lot of companies do that really well. It's funny. Jim Johnson actually just sent me a message a couple minutes ago. I saw
Nice.
like pop up on my
Good.
screen. So, small world.
Are you guys friends?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you guys, I feel like he's a great person to know, and we have a couple mutual clients in common, so we've heard
Yeah,
great
for sure.
things from the contractors that we work with too. So, and I'm guessing we will about your guys' service as well. And I appreciate you coming on and saying what's up. I hope to make your long-term acquaintance here. Where can people find you guys online?
restorationreferralsystem.com. And you can check us out on social media too, if you care to. And I always encourage people, if you're interested in this, you think it may be worth your while, go ask the roofing community, go online, ask people that you know that are already clients of mine, and let them tell you. Because I'm going to sell you, I want your money, but they'll tell you honestly if it's worthwhile.
Awesome. I love that. And the podcast is put on by hookagency.com, Hook Agency all over social. And thank you for listening or watching. Bye.